October 10, 2022. I just had my first meeting of the day, so I got up from work and decided to just take my coffee and prepare fried rice for Onyara and Daddy. So while at it, I was very reflective, and as I was making coffee, I actually thought about what happened last Saturday, wherein I feel very sad about the reaction of my sisters in Christ, of the testimonies that I had with Onyara, and they talk about a lot of things, but what really struck me most is that I feel that they have judged me and invalidate my feelings about the things that's happening with Onyara since April, and the back-to-back setbacks and then comebacks related to it. So it was so painful, because at the end of the day, even though, and I think what I understood from them is that their comment was basing from the knowledge that I am not a Bible reader. Like the way I'm connecting with God is very different from how they are connecting with God. Like the Bible read every day, and then they have a set time to connect to God, while I actually don't have. Like my days are always jump packed, just like today. I started work 6 a.m. and then I continue, and it goes until 4 p.m. and in between during lunchtime, we have to drop Onyara to school, then have lunch, and then resume working again. And then when I log off from office, or I'm just working from home. Thankfully, I'm working from home. So at 4 p.m. when my work is done, I would pick up Onyara. And yeah, aside from the feeling that I was sad that I feel like under fire and under attack because of the way I'm doing things, I was really I don't know, at least for me, I know if that God wouldn't give me some pain if I have nothing to gain from it. And at some point, I have actually thought about leaving the church, and it's not about I don't know, it just came to me that I think I'm not growing anymore, and I'm also very guilty because I couldn't, do the my ministry like I wanted. Like at least in when was that, June, I tried to return as an in the ushering ministry, but we were just too busy. Like even with attending church services, there were back to back activities. It was really hard, and I was like, can I just go back to being just a church goer and all that? But because there is a platform in the church to do that, and it's really like, I know it's free, like it's on your will if you participate or not. But as a person, when there is that option and there's that option to be involved, I would always take that. And for me to change gears after maybe 5 years in church, it's harder for me. I just don't want to be that person who just goes to church on my own church. So I was thinking if I was actually looking for a church where we could just be church goer, like we can just at least support, like do our tithing and all that, like support from the background. And cause with the changes that Onyara is in school, and with us not having a house help anymore. So it's May, June, July, August, September, October. It's actually our 5th month without a house help, and it's really been so refreshing. And I really did feel that God is just helping me navigate through all these changes, because at the end of the day, I wanted this. Like, I did ask God for guidance with all the steps that I'm making. So coming back to the point where I don't have a relationship with God because I don't read the Bible, I don't really agree to what my sister was saying. But then I actually did tell them that is there only one way to connect to God? It's just reading the Bible. And they were so focused on it. I was like, and it was really so sad, because I was doing my testimony and all that. Like, every word that I'm saying, they're like I was under fire and under attack. There was like, when I was sharing about Onyara's heart procedure, the finances that goes along with it, and they were saying that if you had only asked God to heal her, then you wouldn't have a problem with the finances. I was like, of course I asked God to heal her, but I couldn't just wait around and not do anything on my capacity, because for me, the only capacity that I can is financials, right? So I wanted to just, I just wanted to be ready in case God has other plans, right? Because human as we are, like, I know for some people, they rely everything to God, and at least for me, I rely everything to God, but at least I want to do my share as well. And I think they didn't understand it. I was like, they were saying, one of them said that I just reverted back to my old self on relying with myself, and it really hurts. It hurt a lot, because I don't know, maybe it's true, or it hurts more because I know that my relationship with God is strong, and I know that these blessings, I have received these blessings because God is with me, and I know that I don't really have to, defend myself, because at the end of the day, the only person that knows my relationship with God is God Himself. And I was just like listening to them doing that, and I was just praying that God, please let it end. And thankfully, midway into that conversation, my husband called. It was like he was following me up if I'm ready to go and all that, and I was really, really so happy. It's the first time that I'm on a session, in a small group session, that I'm so happy that my husband actually called and asked how I am, because I'm not really feeling well. But of course, I at the end of the day, I don't want to just storm out of the room, and of course I closed the session. I thanked them, because at the end of the day, even though I was hurt, they have really given me things to think about. And what stood out for me there was that at least the initial thought my initial thought about living in the church was really magnified. Like, I don't, although there are only one group, but I don't know, I just feel that maybe I just need to step back and really evaluate things, and if this is really the church that is good for me, because it's been 5 years and I have been growing. I feel that I've been growing. My husband and me have been growing. We are in a good couples life group, but I don't see a life group in my season. Like, for at least I don't know if there is a life group with mothers that had the same that the children has the same age as me, because it would really help. because when so going back, so after that session, I close it, I wrap it out, right? And then when I went out of the venue, I was very so down. I don't even know how to go home. So I was like, I wanted to be there to just share the goodness of God, to just, because at the end of the day, I'm also sharing it my Facebook, right? But I feel that most of my friends really, and most of my those that are closest to me wouldn't really understand the victories that I have whenever I connected it to God, because they're like, they might, what do you call this, they might think of me as weird, but I wanted to be there just to share to my sisters, like, God was really so awesome and all that. But to listen to them give that feedback, it's really hurtful, especially when they focus it on Yara. They were like saying that because it was too focused on Yara, then that bad stuff is happening to her. It was like, oh, instead of placing blessing for Onyara, they are actually putting a curse on her. It's like, what kind of people are they? And I would understand they are also mothers, right? But at least when my husband explained it to me, he was like saying that the first point that he made is that the generation gap, and he was like saying that you need to look at them from a perspective that they might not have memories anymore of how they are raising their preschoolers before, and if they do remember the way, because of our years, like, it's very different. The way we are raising kids now is very different from how they raised there. So there's like a generation gap, so I should understand that part. But still, it's still hurt. Like, at least I wanted them not to tell me that I'm the reason, because I'm placing Onyara on top of my relationship with God, which is not actually true. For me, whenever I look at Onyara, I thank the Lord for that. So Onyara is actually drawing me closer to God, because if I go back to the history of my of how we have the gift of Onyara, is, if I know I haven't shared this in my podcast, that I don't really want to have children, right? I don't want to have children because I have a very bad experience with growing up. So I thought that because I'm so hurt, I wouldn't be able to be a good mom. But it all melted when I became a born again Christian, when my relationship with Christ started, and really Christ changes things for me. And through all that changes, the Lord has really been, when He gifted me with Onyara, I was like, oh God, thank you so much. And every time I look at Onyara, every time I do things for her, it's like me doing things for the Lord, because I know that, I can get emotional when I remember all those things. So every time I do things for Onyara, I know I'm doing it for the Lord, because I know that she is a gift from the Lord, and she's not even mine to begin with. Like, I'm only her steward, and I'm not even in control with all the things that's happening with her. And it's just so hard that to be told that you are putting her over God, when I'm not actually doing that. And when I said about it, I was like saying, no, you're doing it, and you're doing these stuffs. Like, they were sharing about how I'm doing all these events for Onyara, photo books for Onyara. I was like, and all these activities for Onyara. I was like, gosh, why are they like this? I was like, and it's actually the first time that I was really put under fire with all the things that I'm doing doing all the things, the extra things that I'm doing to document Onyara. And even with Onyara herself, like at least the photo book, right? Just to share a bit, like since Onyara is 4 years old now, and even when she was 3, and she could really, like, the photo book is like her own storybook. She would scan it and ask me things, mommy, about who's this, and why is this happening, something like that. And it really made me so happy because I'm able to share her life through her own storybook, and that made me happy as well. And with also some of my friends were really very glad that they didn't really think that it is possible. Like, I'm doing a yearly book for Onyara, and even I'm actually doing yearly messages for Onyara, because at the end of the day, there might be things that once she will be teenager, I wouldn't be this close to her, because I know she will have her own mind. Even now, she has her own mind. We are actually raising Onyara to be empowered and to be really so strong. And even that was also placed under scrutiny. I was like sharing to them. I was so proud to share to them that Onyara didn't even was very independent, and didn't even cry when we joined the play group, and when at her preschool now, she's really so independent and all. And they were like telling me that Onyara was like that because Onyara wanted to stay away from me because I'm so controlling and all. This was like, where is this coming from? I'm not controlling. Onyara was even very empowered. She's very independent, and it's like, I think because they know me before Onyara, and because I've been sharing to them how I was before, their thought about me stick. Like, they haven't upgraded their thinking. They haven't really knew who I am now as a mother. And maybe it's also because of the pandemic, as I also I haven't been attending the life group as well. And when I do attend the life group, of course, because my life now is always attached to Onyara, I would always made her my focal point. And maybe that's what stuck to them the most, that I'm distressed because of Onyara, which is actually not true. And whenever I tried to share about it, like, I was like, they are stuck to the thought that I am just too focused on Onyara. So yeah, and so I just let it go. And yeah, so the first point that my husband said was generation gap, and I think with that generation gap, for my next step would be to, maybe, I don't know if I can connect anyone to a church to transfer me to a life group that would have the same things that I'm going through, like having a child under 5, like working as well, and just like being in touch with the transition of what do you call this, of being a new school parent. And yeah, coming back to the point of school parent, they actually attack it as well, as like they were saying that it's actually over to be friends with the other school parents. I was like, oh, even that. And at least for me, it really helps me to know that I'm friends with Onyara's classmates' parents, because then I would know if their kids are okay. And I really cared for this kid, because Onyara doesn't have a sibling, right? For me, I'm thinking that this kid is Onyara's sibling, and if we are to stay at our school for years, right, at least I'm comfortable knowing who are the kids that she is interacting with, because in school she will get a lot of influences, and of course with the celebrations as well. I want Onyara to really connect with her um, with her classmates, with her playgroup classmates, with her preschool classmates, because these are the things that I don't have as a child. Like, I don't remember who my preschool or kindergarten classmates are, and I don't remember the stuff that I'm doing during those years, and I wanted Onyara to have that memory, and I wanted her to make more memories with her pre-elementary classmates, because there will be a different world when she will be in elementary, and then for us, we will be staying here in Tepolo for the longest time, because our permanent home would be in Manganilla in the near future. So our initial estimate of our transfer is in grade 1. So I'm not sure if K1 of course she will be at her school now, and then K2, and then on grade 1 for sure she will transfer. But even with that change, I wanted Onyara to just preserve this memory of her playgroup and preschool, and also to connect with these parents in the future, because we have the same experiences. And just to share a few, actually in Onyara's preschool now, most of her classmates is actually only child, and I was really very so amazed, because I wouldn't know about these things, that they're an only child, if I didn't make friends with the parents, right? And besides, it's so easy to make friends with them, because most of them and also the lola and the yaya actually waits for the child to go out. So it doesn't take me much to just strike up that conversation, how are you, and create a chat group after. So in case there are emergencies, in case there are changes to the plans, we could really connect, and maybe we could also bond after school. And it was like, it's not taking my time. I didn't even mention that it's taking my time. I'm actually enjoying it, but they actually mentioned it. And today, coming back to that point, I was like, I actually asked myself if, yeah, maybe they are right. Maybe I'm just so entangled with all of Onyara's life that maybe I need to take a step back. So I told my husband today, last night that maybe, husband, we need to do some changes as well. Like, at least for now, I will stop dropping off Onyara with you to school during my lunchtime, so I could free some time to do some cleaning as well, and I will just pick her up. And yeah, I will just try just to know. The funny thing was, I was so sad about it, and during Onyara and I's bath session, I told her, you know what, somebody told me that you are actually excited to go to school because you want to stay away with mommy. And Yara said, like, no, I want to be with mommy always. Like, and I enjoy school. It's like, oh, thank you. And I was crying, and whenever I cried, and she would always kiss me, and yeah, that really made my heart so at peace. And at least at the end of the day, maybe I just also need to give her some spaces as well. Actually, that Saturday was the first time that I have been out for almost a whole day, and maybe longer, because I started the day early to bond with my mama, and then wrap the day with my sisters. And yeah, so yeah, there's really so much to talk about this one, and I don't know. My friends, my mommy tribe, who's also a a Christian from different churches, they're actually telling me, transfer to our church and all that, and so that you could just have that support, the right support that you need, because in our church we really because our family is our first ministry, so we really appreciate people who like do their ministry first, and then they're just open when the person is ready. And I was like saying, I just should just think about it. But I was really thankful to these ladies, to this mom, she is who really speak life to me and really share their heart out to me. I was really when I returned Saturday night, I was so down that I don't want to do anything, even with the Sunday. And I actually planned to go to church to just resume her face-to-face church, but I canceled all that because I wasn't really feeling well. But during I actually woke up 5 a.m. on that Sunday morning, and I talked to my mom. She's tribe from different church, and then 2 of my mommy friends from preschool, and then also 1 of my single friends. So like 5 people. I talked to 5 people. 1 of them is single, and 4 of them has a mom, and they really understood me. Like but I don't know, maybe they just understood, because I was just saying from my own perspective, maybe they're not if they can also hear the perspective of my sisters, they would understand. But I don't want to go on that part anymore. I was like, I'm hurt, and I have raised Onyara to just express and feel the hurt, because at least for me, I have in my life, I'm not used to express my hurt. Like, I'm always dismissed whenever I express my emotions, that like at least I'm OA and all that. So I don't usually cry. I only cry when I'm watching a movie. So yeah, even I rarely cry. Like, the husband can attest to that. And whenever my voice is breaking during my podcast, or whenever I'm on my blog, I don't know, I always have this internal mechanism to know how to bounce back. So I'm bouncing back, and I'm making this podcast because my husband actually told me to make this podcast so that I'm reminded of his 3rd point. Number 1, he doesn't like to be in church because most of the diehard people in church is actually those people who are very judgmental, who only like there's only one way to connect to God, or to worship God, or the highway. And it was like telling to me that I was telling you about this for so long, and thankfully this happened to you, and now you see my perspective. I was like, gosh, I wanted to say something, but yeah, he is like, maybe I was just so blinded before with all the things that I, because I love relationship, right? And really this church has made so many relationship for me, but maybe it's I am in this church with the wrong intention. This church should nurture my relationship with Christ, but what actually have happened is my relationship with Christ is done on my own. Like, I made it a point to connect to God through my child, and through my daily life, and through all the things that's happening in my life. And the people in church is actually the people that made me want to be out of it. So, and coming back and in closing to the husband's 3rd point is, he is sad that this is happening to me, but he is also happy because every time I talk to him about, like, pointed to him about not being grateful with all the blessings that God has given us, because he is not a Christian, because he is not reading the Bible, because he doesn't have the relationship with God like I do, it really hits home. Like, gosh, so the way I'm feeling now, the way I'm feeling when my sisters told me that maybe the blessings that you have experienced now is not actually from God, because your relationship with Christ is not that strong, but basing only to the things that I haven't done. But at the end of the day, our relationship with Christ is with us and Christ only. No one could tell us that our relationship with Christ is not strong, because we don't have the requirements for it. Like, you don't read the Bible, you don't have a specific time with God and all that. You could have all these you could read the Bible by connecting with people. You could, like, I haven't got to the part where I really have the time to read the Bible. I actually tried, and it's just so hard for me. But I know at some point, I've been praying for it. I know that at some point, maybe God will lead me to be that person to read the Bible. Because at the end of the day, I'm not even a reader. I don't read a lot. I'm not a reader. So I can't even read a single book or something for the longest time. How much more to read the Bible when I don't really understand most of it. But yeah, I it could be solutioned in the future, but at least for now, I'm where I am. And just to close this one, I'm really thinking of just leaving the church and find a church where motherhood is celebrated, where you could just be a church goer and just support and the financials and all that, and in tithing and all that. So if you know a church just let me know. It's a Christian church, just of a Christian church. And I think that wraps it all up, and thank you for listening. And my coffee break is over, and I know I'm over time, so I'm just gonna extend my work later. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm gonna share this link to the husband so that he could resend it to me whenever my mind changes again. So God bless us all, and thank you for listening. Happy Monday.